Very happy Easter to each of you, to you and to your family. When there's a really big celebration in the church, Easter, Christmas, at one point in time even Pentecost, the church doesn't just celebrate one day. They celebrate 8 days straight at the same intensity and the same excitement. And so today is the same amount of Easter, if you will, as last Sunday. And so kids, hold your parents to it. You get more ice cream today as you would on Easter. Father Ryan said so. It's also the 8th day of Easter is a day that we celebrate Divine Mercy Sunday. Now, we celebrate God's mercy every single day, right? He's not merciful one day of the year, and then the other 364 days he's kind of in a bad mood. Not the case. But why do we celebrate Divine Mercy Sunday? Well, it's similar to how, you love your families, your friends every day of the year, but on their birthday, you remember them in a very particular way. That's what we're doing here with God's mercy. We celebrate it every day, but today we call to mind in an intentional way that the God of Israel, Jesus Christ, the one true God, is gentle, forgiving, and patient. That is unique, and that's beautiful. That is worth celebrating. But I need to push back just on a temptation that I think I experience, and I think a number of Christians experience in this regard. If Joe Blow stopped you on the street and said, is your God, is Jesus, is he gentle and forgiving? You'd be like, yeah, I think he is. Makes sense. But then in your own life, if I said, are there areas in your life or your life, Father Ryan, where you haven't actually forgiven yourself? Would that check a box for you? And I'm sure a lot of us would say, yeah, actually. And so here are some red flags that you might be being tempted to doubt that God is gentle and forgiving and loving, what we celebrate today. So number one, I know God has forgiven me, but I can't forgive myself. Red flag. Or another one, I go to confession, I name all of my sins, I'm super honest, and then as I'm walking out, I'm still beating myself up. Wow, a horrible person. Red flag. Or when I think about who I am at my very core, the first thing that comes to mind is my worst moment. Some of my worst things that I've done. Or finally, you're going through in your head litanies, memories of times when you have failed or sinned. You've already confessed them, but you're still running through them in your head. I don't know if I'm forgiven. I'm not sure if I'm forgiven. I'm not. All of those red flags, in one way or another, are disagreeing with what is said at the bottom of this image. Have you ever seen a Divine Mercy image? It's right here. On the bottom, the words say, Jesus, I trust you. Each of those statements is in one way or another saying, Jesus, I don't trust you. But my brothers and sisters, the good news of Divine Mercy is that we have every reason in the world to trust him. Actually, not trusting God, not believing that we're forgiven, it's kind of insulting to him in some ways. I mean, look at this from Jesus' perspective. You ready for this? Think about Jesus. We got ourselves into a big mess. You remember the whole Adam and Eve thing? We got ourselves into a big mess as human beings. And God could have fixed that problem in any way. He could have, what are those things called? He could have signed a, God executive order or something and said, hey, they're in a big mess. Okay, they're free. Good. Don't bother me anymore. That would have told us a lot about who our God is. He could have sent angels and just said, okay, look, I don't have time for this. I got to run the universe. Can you fix this problem? Okay, so he sends representatives. No, he didn't do that. What did he choose to do? He could have chosen anything in how to save us, but what did he choose? He came down from heaven to become one of us. He took the biggest demotion ever. I mean, think about it. He's sitting on the throne of heaven, governing the entire universe, and then he doesn't just take one step down. He takes infinite steps down to become one of his creatures? That's crazy. You've heard me use the example before of Undercover Boss, the show. Okay, he literally was sitting in his penthouse as a CEO, and he came down to an unpaid intern, and even more so. He chose that. That's how he wanted to save us. Why? To reveal something about who he is and how much he cares about us. And then, if you want to go even further, I'm going to go up here. He could have chosen any way to actually save us. He could have been a good political leader. He could have snapped his fingers and said, all right, let's be done with this. But what did he choose to do? Dying on the cross. Now, sometimes I think we are too comfortable with that statement. Do you know what that actually entails? Dying on the cross. That, if you left it to my imagination, I could not think of a more painful or humiliating thing to do to another person. Honestly. If you look up, and you can do this on your own time, some of the scientific facts about someone that is crucified, even just from a physiological standpoint, it's crazy. They're on this cross, and the reason they actually pass is because of suffocation. They can't breathe. And if they do try to breathe and push themselves up on a nail, it just prolongs the inevitable. It's a lose-lose. And then think about it. He's outside, everybody can see him, and it's humiliating. He just got scourged, right, whipped, and so he has all these blisters. If you've ever had a blister, you know how painful that is. His entire body is one big blister, and he's rubbing up against this wooden thing. And then all of a sudden in his hands, I love our crucifix because it shows it, in his hands, in like this nerve center, all of a sudden there's nails going through the hand. It is like unbelievably, excruciatingly painful. His shoulders are dislocated. And think about if a bug landed on him, or a bird or something, he can't swat it away. Me and my siblings, this is a weird example, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Me and my siblings used to play this game as kids called Mercy, ironically. And some kids are laughing because they know what I'm talking about. It's the silliest game. But basically me and my sibling, we'd grab each other's hands, and when we said go, we'd try to bend the other person's hand or squeeze or do something to cause that other person pain. I don't recommend this. And the whole point was, if you could get the other person to say mercy and tap out because the pain was too much, then you won, basically. Okay, so the pain meter, I was pretty good at the game, but the pain meter was super, super, super high. You could see how much can I get it for this other person before they tap out. Why do I bring that example? Right here. If the pain meter for suffering, I could think of 100 other ways that you could have someone executed. The pain meter for this, 10 out of 10. It does not go higher. Why did Jesus come down from heaven to be with us? Why did he choose that way? He could have chosen any other way, but why did he choose that? The most horrific and difficult and painful thing he could possibly choose. He wanted to leave no room for doubt in your mind and mine that he loves you, that he forgives you. I mean, honestly, it doesn't get much worse than that. I can't think of something worse. And why did he do it? Because what he's saying there is, this is how far I will go to prove to you that I have forgiven you. Even if you do that to me, I will still love you. Even if that pain meter, when you're playing mercy with me, gets all the way to 10, I am not gonna tap out on you because I love you and I care about you. So don't sit here and doubt that I'm a loving Savior. I'd do it again for you. I would do that again to you. It could get this bad, and I will love you no matter what. That is what we celebrate today. The fact that our God is merciful and forgiving. And then here I am, doubting his mercy. Are you sure? Jesus has to be like, Father Ryan, what more could I have done? Please answer me. What more could I have done for you? He has maxed out the meter, and here he is to forgive us today. And so we need to believe him. He does all this, and we need to believe him. That statement at the bottom of this image, that needs to be our prayer today and every day. Jesus, I don't feel forgiven for that thing I did in college. Jesus, I don't feel forgiven for that thing I did as a kid. Jesus, I don't feel forgiven for when I was rude to my family, as Father Tony would say, in the car on the way to Mass today. But I trust you. I trust your judgment and assessment of me more than mine, because you're God and I'm not. You wouldn't have done that for me if you didn't actually want me to be forgiven. I leave you with this. Today's Divine Mercy Sunday, that word mercy, a beautiful translation of mercy, a definition is, mercy is the restoration of dignity. Will you let Jesus restore your dignity? Is there an area in your life where you're still blaming yourself and holding on to these things? Bring it to the confessional, confess it to God, and it's gone. Jesus, I trust you.